Good morning. It's 8:30. I'm Niva Manu. Fighting in Gaza has resumed after an agreed pause last week. Some hostages taken by Hamas were released in exchange for scores of Palestinian prisoners. International geopolitics analyst Geoffrey Miller told Mike Hosking there needs to be work on a long-term solution, which Foreign Minister Winston Peters has called for.
I think that's all New Zealand in the end can do is play a small role and speak out. And Winston Peters would probably head to the Middle East pronto, really.
Back to the Middle East, where the pause and hostage swap clearly is over and the war is back on. US Vice President's weighed in. She says Israel has a right to defend itself, yes, but international and humanitarian law must be respected and, quote, too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. Now, international geopolitical analyst Geoffrey Miller's back with us. Geoffrey, very good morning to you.
Good morning, Mike.
Is that Harris statement from Biden down and the screws are being placed on Netanyahu by the Americans?
A little bit. We did see a similar statement from Antony Blinken, the Secretary of State, a few weeks ago. So in a sense, it's not new, but I think the US is increasingly getting worried about what is happening. Joe Biden's approval rating is tanking in large part due to this war. There was a new poll out the other day from Gallup that showed 45% of US voters now disapprove of this war, including 63% of Democrats. And it's really Biden's base who are abandoning him. There's a lot of dissent in the likes of the State Department, the CIA as well. So, things are going from bad to worse there, of course, in Gaza, but also domestically for Joe Biden as a result of this war. And remember, we're only 1 month away from election year in the US.
Exactly. And this is part of the whole Middle East problem that we've been dealing with for decades, isn't it? This is a go-nowhere situation. There is no two-state solution. No one's slicing Jerusalem up. You might have some peace talks. This is an unsolvable problem, isn't it?
I don't think it's unsolvable. I think it is
why haven't they solved it?
Difficult. Oh, look, it's a very difficult problem, Mike, and we need all the greatest minds in the world getting together and working out on a solution. I mean, we can't go on like this. So you just look at what's happening at the moment. You've got Houthi rebels from Yemen threatening Israeli ships. You've got Hezbollah and Israel trading fire across the Lebanese border as well. The shooting attack in Jerusalem over the weekend. It's gone from bad to worse. The ceasefire was nice while it lasted for 7 days, but we're in a terrible, dire situation 2 months into this war, and we need to be working on that long-term solution. And it's exactly what Winston Peters called for on Friday. He issued his first statement on the crisis, and I think he's quite interested in becoming involved in playing a small role in the solution. And I think that's all New Zealand in the end can do is play a small role and speak out. And Winston Peters should probably head to the Middle East pronto, really, to try and get the views of people here on the ground where I am at the moment. And,
were you surprised that the ceasefire didn't continue in some way, shape or form?
No, I was surprised that it lasted as long as it did, to be honest. 7 days. I think it was nice while it lasted. It would have been nice to see it last even longer than that, but it's completely broken down now. Israel has withdrawn its negotiators from Doha and Qatar. We're in a terrible situation, and you've got all these Palestinian civilians in Gaza who've got nowhere to go there in the south. 1.8 million of the 2.2 million population in Gaza have been displaced, and they're sitting ducks there in the south of Gaza. They're where Israel told them to go. Remember when they were bombing the north of Gaza? So what are you meant to do now if you're a resident of Gaza? There's literally nowhere to go, and Israel is determined to kill off the Hamas leadership, which they believe is hiding out in Khan Yunis in the south of Gaza.
Domestically, where are we at? The war government, the war cabinet, are they holding? Are they still firm in their belief and their resolve?
I think Netanyahu is facing just the huge pressure from Ben Gvir and from the right to continue the job, to finish the job. Against that, you've got the families of the hostages who had some hope last week with the continuous flow of hostages being released. And so there is pressure on both sides. It's just hard to know what Israel does from here and where we go from here, because you just cannot go on like this. And in the end, this is a very bad situation for Israel to be in as well. And this war is really threatening to spiral out of control at the moment.
Geoffrey, always a pleasure. We'll get you on again soon. Appreciate it very much. Geoffrey Miller, international geopolitical analyst, 18 minutes away from 8.